Hello, welcome. This is Jojo. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, um, well, first off, I hope you guys are doing okay during this time. You guys are washing your hands, taking care of yourselves and your families. Okay, wash your hands, sanitize everything, make sure everything is clean. While you're out at home cleaning and doing all that, make sure everything is clean all your cooking surfaces. Make sure everything is crisp and clean so that you don't get sick, your family doesn't get sick, and your loved ones, stay healthy. So today I'm going to show you how I make Ugandan pancakes, or we call them Kabalagala in Uganda. It's a quick, I wouldn't say quick, but it's an easy kind of food to make. Very delicious, nice with breakfast, tea or whatever. And it's easy to make, quite easy to make, but very delicious. People from Uganda know and they enjoy it. And here's what we're going to need today. You need cassava flour. Not this much, but this is what you need. If you live anywhere outside of Uganda, if you live in the United States, you can find cassava flour at an African store or anywhere, international market, some place that you can find cassava flour or yuca flour. So we're gonna need some cassava flour, and you're gonna need, I use plantain, very ripe plantain. I know this looks almost bad, but it's not. I'll show you in a minute. The inside of it does not reflect, the outside does not represent what's on the inside, but you need it to be very ripe. You can use, typically in Uganda we use the small bananas, the very yellow tiny bananas that they call ndizi, but if you can't find them, this is a good replacement. And I actually kind of like how they turn out. I like these plantain pancakes a lot better than the other ones, because a plantain, which we call gonja in Uganda, it becomes very sweet when it gets to this stage. So let it get ripe, extremely ripe, but still good. When you press it, it's still nice, and it's not soggy yet, but it's at this point. So we're gonna need those. As many as you want. It depends. As time goes on, you'll figure out how much of each that you need. Right now I have a bunch. As you can see, I have a bunch of plantain that I'm gonna be using. And we'll see. For the tools that you're gonna need a wok or a frying pan, large frying pan, or a wok, frying wok. I don't know if you know what those are, but it's basically a big frying pan. You're gonna need that. I don't know what that is called exactly, but it's like a strainer, but for handling hot stuff. You're gonna need rolling pin and rolling board, and you're going to need that, like a masher in a mixing bowl, and that's it. So let's get started. Alright guys, so we're going to start by peeling the plantain, just like so. Cut both ends, kind of dissect it, open it up. I am working from my sink because I have a small kitchen. I have to make do with what I have. So as I told you, it looks black on the outside, but it's perfectly fine on the inside. back. So all our plantain has been peeled. Looks nice. Hands are washed. Please wash your hands every time you're done handling, you know, the bananas, because insides are okay, but you know, when you don't know what's on the outside. So wash your bananas, wash your hands. If you can wash your bananas too, but yeah, wash your hands every time. Make sure your hands are, you're working with clean hands, especially in this period of time. So up next, we're going to cut up these bananas. Plantain, I'll use bananas, plantain, I mean the same thing, don't get confused. You can try and give them a little slice to kind of make it easy on you, just like that. Cut them down to small pieces. And then get your mashing tool right there. See that? So I'm just gonna mash them like that. It's gonna take a while. So now at this point it's fairly mashed, and I'm ready to start adding flour to it. This is all just the plantain that I just mashed up. You notice that these get a spoon here and show you these see those black little seeds from the plantain. Those they'll come out eventually. You can take them out when you see them. They're not like a problem. It's just the softer it gets, the easier they will be to take out. So you can take those out, because you're not gonna get them any softer than that. So you can take out as many of those as you want or as you can, but well, time to start adding the flour. So I'm gonna wash my hands. Dry them. And start, because I'm going to use my hands now to do the rest of the mashing, because when you use your hands it's easy. You can feel the hard stuff, and when you land on like those seeds that I showed you earlier, it's easier for you to feel them with your hands other than using that, because that doesn't feel. So you'll be able to feel them with your hands and take them out and dump them out. So you start adding a little bit of flour, kind of just cover the top, and then you start working with the dough. You just start working the dough like that, slowly but surely. Once you notice that has disappeared, you can add flour. See, these are the I told you about these before. See that? It's easy now. It's easy to take out because I can feel them with my hands. don't know when you're watching this, but I'm filming this during this COVID-19 season, and this is definitely something you can cook while you're at home, quarantined, and staying home, and maybe you don't have stuff to do outside the home. So this is definitely something that you can do, and you'll enjoy the pancakes with your family. It's gonna be probably about 25 or 30 that might come out of this. So this kneading process is probably going to be the longest process. It's going to take the most time because you're walking the dough and feeling for seeds like that, feeling for hard, that there's some stuff that is not going to be, getting soft enough. So you're going to need to take that out and kind of just working it until it's really like soft. So yeah, this is the process that kind of is going to test your patience, because it's quite some work and it takes a little bit of time, but the results are always worth it. Add some flour. Keep working it. Probably another 10 minutes now. We're almost getting there. You start kneading the dough when it starts to become a little bit hard. In that time, I know it's relative, but when it stops being sticky, when it starts being getting stuck on your hands while you're kneading, that's when you know it's ready. So we are almost ready here. It's gonna be probably a couple more minutes and we'll be all set and done with this messy job right here. So it looks like our dough here is about ready. This is it. It's beginning to feel a little tough, but you don't want it to get all the way tough, because that would mean that you put a lot of flour, and when your pancakes have a lot of flour in them, they won't taste as sweet. So you want a nice little balance between the flour and the plantain or the bananas, depending on what you're using. So this is nice and ready. Yeah, you can, if you listen, you can hear that sound. And you see it's not even sticking to the bottom of the bowl. That's good. So I'm just gonna take the excess off of my fingers, of my hand. And that's why it's very important to wash your hands when you're dealing with this kind of food, because your parts of your body are literally touching the food. And please keep short nails. You don't want to be working with people's food with long nails, because we all know that germs love to hide in those long nails. So with that, I'm gonna just cover this up a little bit while I prepare the rolling pin and the rolling base and all the other stuff, the cooking oil and all that. Be back shortly. So we have a little bit of flour over there, and the reason for that flour is I had to coat my rolling pin, coat my rolling base or rolling board, and I put a little layer on the cookie sheets as well, so that they don't stick, that the dough does not stick to the sheets when I'm moving stuff around and getting ready to, dump the pancakes into the frying pan. So you leave a little bit of the flour, someplace, so that you can be able to use that for these kinds of things. Because even when I'm rolling the dough out, I'm going to apply a little bit of the flour to it, just so it doesn't stick on either of these surfaces. So we're back. I grabbed the dough over there, and couldn't find my cookie cutters for some reason, so I'm just gonna be using my daughter's fancy cup right here to make the shapes and stuff. But you can use a cup, you can use cookie cutters and make all the fancy shapes if you want. There are no rules to this game. It's literally, we're just gonna have fun with it, and let's make these pancakes. So I grab a nice chunk of the dough right there. See that? I could add a little bit actually. So I got a nice chunk over there, and I'm just kind of going to roll it around that surface and coat it entirely with the flour. So after entirely coating the whole bowl of dough, I'm gonna roll it out now, just like that. And watch out to not make it too small. Pull this back a little bit, because this is literally the size that your pancakes are gonna be. So you don't try to roll it too thin. You roll it to a nice little kind of thickness that you want your pancakes to be. If they're too thin, they'll be very flimsy. They'll get burnt in the oil and won't really taste nice. So that right there, it's about I don't know, I'm not good with how thickness works, but yeah, about that much is what I'm gonna go with. And I'm gonna get my cookie cutter for the day and just start making shapes right here. I'm gonna be making circles today. Give it a little firm press until you get to the bottom, and that's one. And that's what I'm gonna do for the other one as well. Firm press all the way vertical. You give it a vertical press, which is firm, until you cut it, and then you give it a little twist so it separates from the other dough. That's it right there. You can hear the air coming out of it. And that's what it's gonna look like. Looks a bit like that. So I'm gonna take that, the finished one, put it aside. Put that aside. Put this aside. See that? Now for this, I'm just gonna roll it back into another ball. Add a little layer of flour over there, again to avoid sticking. And then I'm going to roll this, kind of just repeat the same process. That's good thickness right there. And then I'm just gonna press down firmly. Get that out of the way. Press down firmly. That's nice right there. Press down. And basically I'm just gonna repeat that process until all of this is done. Let's probably have a couple of pancakes in this dough right here, but that's the whole idea. I'm gonna do that until I'm done with all that dough, and then we'll be right back once I'm finished with all this. So that took a little bit of time, but we got it done. A little messy on the hands, but it's worth it. So I say we might get about 25, 30. I didn't use a professional cutting cookie cutters, so I used this cup right here, and I was pretty close. We came up with 23, so that's good. 23. And I have a few tiny little pieces over here. Well, these actually come in handy. I'll show you when you use those. It's a good thing that I have a little bit, you know, of the tiny pieces left over, because we'll use those to test the oil, to see when the oil is ready. You don't want to ruin a whole pancake just to see if the oil is ready. So I'm gonna put the oil on and have that going, and we'll be back to the frying process. I guess you all are excited. I'll be back shortly. And we're back. So I think after about 20 minutes or so, our oil is ready, and we're going to start frying. But before that, I'm gonna get just a little tiny piece of the pancake and drop it in and see what happens. So I'll pinch off a little bit, and I'll drop that tiny piece in there, and depending on how much time it takes for it to come back up on the surface of the oil will kind of give me an idea of how ready our oil is. If it comes back right away, that means the oil is too hot, and that means I'll have to kind of reduce on the heat. But if it takes a couple seconds, you know, and then it rises back up, you know, if I put it in and it comes back right away, that's too hot. If it takes about 2 to 3 seconds and then comes back up, anywhere between 2 to 5 seconds, that's good. That's where you want your oil to be. If it takes longer than that, if it takes say 10 seconds or more, that's it's a little bit, you know, you're still kind of in the raw area, and you need to wait a little bit longer. So let's see what happens here. So I didn't count, but I'm just gonna kind of assume that was a little bit longer than 10 seconds. It hasn't counted back up. It's not yet floating yet, but give me a nice brown color, so I'm just gonna take that. It's not too bad. It didn't take too long. Maybe give it a couple minutes. All is ready, but I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer, and then in 2 minutes it should be fine. Alright folks, so it's been about a minute or so. I feel good about oil right now, so I'm just gonna dip another little tiny piece in there and see what it does. Have some water on the side, dealing with hot stuff, so I need to hydrate from time to time. There it is, came right back on the surface. That's our indicator that our oil is at the perfect temperature. Now I'm going to start dipping the big guys in, and you wanna drop it in, not drop, it's more like place it in one at a time away from you, so kind of like that. You don't just, this oil is kind of dangerous to deal with, so you need to be very careful. Just drop it away from you. Be careful not to put your finger in the oil like that, away from you, just like that, just like that. We'll put maybe a couple more. There's one, there's two. That should be good for this batch. And yeah, that's how it looks. I'm gonna just kind of move them around a little bit, not flip them right away, but moving them around so they're not sticking to the base of the pan. That way you know you're not going to burn your food. So I'm just moving them around. Our oil is hot, nice and hot, so take that little piece out. It served its purpose. So when you start to see the browning on the sides, it's about time to start flipping them over. And I've started seeing that. See that on the side? It's beginning to brown, and I'm just gonna flip that guy to the other face. Flip this one over gently, so you're not spilling oil on yourself, because this is extremely hot. There we go. And then I'll just wait while moving them around. Ever so gently. That's it. So what we're looking for is a nice golden kind of color, as is with most kinds of foods that you fry. You're looking for that golden brown. You don't want it to go all the way dark. You don't want it to be super light. You know, that's still, it's not ready yet. So you want that nice little golden kind of color. It looks kind of like that. So move them around. This is another process that takes a little bit of patience, because you don't want to give it too much heat, otherwise it will burn. If you give it too little, it will take forever. You just have to kind of find the sweet spot. Right there in the middle, that's kind of where I like to keep the heat throughout the frying. I found out that it's usually a good spot for me. So it's like the bubbling has kind of simmered down, and seeing more brown, so I'm just gonna flip them over. See that? Nice and brown, so I'm just gonna flip them over to the other face so that it also gets as brown as that. And once it's all brown on either side, I can take them out. So the reason I use this kind of lead or spoon or whatever you call this thing is because if you use a plastic one, it's gonna get burnt in here and you'll be eating plastic, and you don't want to do that. But you know, when you use this metallic one, it helps, and the oil just kind of sieves through without actually burning and having the residue of that going into your food, which might cause health complications. So we're getting there. We are getting there. So looks like I almost got a little something on me there. So yeah, that's why I said oil is it gets hot, and you don't want to be, you want to be as careful as you possibly can. Looks like our pancakes are a good kind of golden brown, and they are ready to be taken out. So I'm gonna start taking them out, probably 2 at a time. You try to drain that excess oil by doing that kind of motion right there, and then put them out just like that. You realize that when they are ready, even the oil, the bubbling, it will reduce. That bubbling is going to cut down because pretty much everything is cooked inside there, and you have nice brown pancakes. Those people that know about these Ugandan pancakes, you know that they're very delicious. This, when you see this color right there, you know you're getting ready to eat something real nice. So I give that about 30 seconds for the oil to come back to the right temperature, and then I'm going to dump in a few more, probably about 6 or 7, and then I'll drop down, you know, kind of just repeat the process until I'm done with the whole batch. From this point on, you're going to have to forgive me about the fan noise in the background. I do have to turn that on so that the house doesn't smell like cooking oil for the next 7 days. So I have to turn that on so I can, you know, get rid of all this scents and the cooking oil and stuff. All that kind of just gets taken out by the fan, but you will have to forgive me about the background noise, because it's not fun just living in a house that smells like cooking oil, this kind of cooking oil. And I might have forgotten to tell you what kind of oil that I'm using. I use vegetable oil to fry, and most people use vegetable oil to fry because it's, one, affordable. You know, it's not as pricey as say olive oil, and you can use it, you know, maybe once, maybe 2 times or 3 times before you can throw it out. So vegetable oil, it could be corn, canola, whatever kind of oil, as long as it's vegetable. That's what I use for frying. Sometimes I like to give them a little squeeze all the way down to the bottom to expel that air that is inside of them, and kind of just help them cook faster. there. How does that look? So that's it. Ugandan pancakes, aka Kabalagala. I've given this was, I think this was the first one in, so I'm gonna giving this enough time to cool down. As you can see, when you break it apart, that's how it looks like. You don't have to, I just wanted to break it apart to just show you guys, but this is ready to be enjoyed. You can just go ahead and give it a bite. Good. Until next time, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, concerns, put them in the comments below. Okay? Share, comment, like, all those things. See you next time.